Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another Railroader video. It has been just over a year since the game has released. I think it was December 7th, 2023, and the developer actually just released a statement of sorts for the game. Um, where it stands and what's coming, what's on the horizon, and things like that. I'll link that down below just for those that may not be aware. But we got something pretty neat to look at today, and it's very appropriate being the season. Jingle bells, because there's plenty of bells in this to jingle. So this is going to be a mod. This is by various contributors, but you can find it down below. I'll link it as well at the bottom. You're going to have over a dozen bells, steam locomotives, of course, early, late, as well as diesel. And there's quite a few to go over here, so let's get into it. So, of course, Merry Christmas and season's greetings to you and yours. And let's go ahead and look into this new mod, complete with bells. So we've had whistles and some horns for quite some time now. And I think it was about high time we got some bells. And thankfully, we got them here today, which is, I guess, kind of the season of bells. So linked down below where you can find the mod. It's going to tell you everything you need to know as per usual. It's not too in-depth. Pretty much anyone can do it. Like I say, if I can do it, literally anyone can. But there's a lot to look at here. So typically, like with changing your whistles and paints, customizations, things like that, you're going to click on the locomotive itself. Once in game, click Equipment, Customize, and now you'll see here, along with your whistle selections, you've got bells. So we'll go over each and every one. I think there's like 17 overall. Of course, you've still got the default. We'll try the default one first, just a quick refresher, a palate cleanser before we get into the other ones anyway. Let's go ahead and test it out here. And it wasn't a bad sounding bell, to be honest. It's just a nice sounding, clean, clear sound bell. But it's always nice to have options, right? So first up is the ACL 250, as it's known in the game. This was on the Baldwin 460 built for the Atlantic coastline in 1910. And it was the last steam locomotive to run service on the Atlantic coastline. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. By golly, that sounds crispy as hell. That is a very nice sounding bell. That's probably got to be my favorite or top 3 out of this pack, because I've kind of got them. I took notes beforehand before jumping into the video here. Little marks of what I thought I liked the most that I'd probably be using the most personally. That is for damn sure up there. Let's hop to the next one. All right, next up, we're going to do the ATSF 2926. This was on a 484 Baldwin built, 1944. One of the last steam locomotives built for the ATSF, featuring their passenger operations, of course. We'll go ahead and give it a run here. It sounds good. It sounds very appropriate. It's got some of that kind of background sound just a bit, but it's not bad. It's I wouldn't say it's in my top 3, but it's not bad. Like I said, there were a lot of contributors that brought these sounds in this pack together. So big shout out, one and all to everybody that made this thing happen first and foremost. I'm going to have my favorites, just like everybody's got their favorites with everything else, whether it be bells, locomotives, food, types of grass. I don't know. I'm reaching here. Anyway, let's get to the next one. Next up is the Dollywood 70. So this was on a 282 Baldwin, built for White Pass and Yukon in 1938. Of course, it currently resides at Dollywood. Let's go ahead and listen to this. Again, like all the bell sounds are legit. Don't get me wrong. It's just the recordings, what they were recorded with, and how they were cleaned up on the back end. This one is probably one of the more, I don't want to say dirty, but there's just a lot more going on in the background. Like you can almost hear the dynamo or like something going on in the background, but it's neat to have it nonetheless. That is the Dollywood 70. Now this one might be a bit ridiculous because it's on a Connie, of course, but this is the EMD bronze bell. Of course, a bronze cast, 12-inch, generally a 12-inch bell. Originally used until the 50s and then later going to the rough cast. They didn't need to be smooth and polished anymore and all that. I feel like bells are even more crazy, like once you get into the nuts and bolts or the nitty gritty compared to like whistles or horns, but we won't do that today. Anyway, this is the bronze bell. Of course, it's on a steam engine. I know. That sounds pretty darn good. So, of course, that would fit right at home on your probably SW1, even the GP9. I mean, honestly, you could throw it on whatever the heck you wanted to, but it's nice that we've got options for the diesels and the steam within the game now. So that's very cool. Very appreciative of more modern or diesel era or transition era stuff like that. Next up, we got one of the greats, the EMD steel bell. Started using them majorly, I think, within the 70s and the 80s, of course, following the bronze rough cast era. Let's go ahead and give this a listen. Sounds very nice. You can hear the little pneumatic click thing going on there. That's a nice, clean sound. Of course, that'll fit on every diesel we've got in the game. So hell yeah, brother, on that one. All right, next up, we have got the Frisco 1522. This one, of course, needs no introduction for a lot of you, I'm sure. But it's the St. Louis and San Fran, a.k.a. Frisco 482 Baldwin built 1926. Good sound there. For me, that's probably in my top 3, but honestly, there's quite a few in this pack, so I might have to make it a top 5. It's in there, though. It is definitely in there. The Frisco 1522. Now, this one's pretty interesting as well. This is the GE, or General Electric Steel bell on, of course, GE locomotives. Now, again, it seems a bit ridiculous being that I'm using a steamer here, a Connie, to display such modern bell sounds. That one is probably not one of my favorite, more modern diesel era bell sounds. It's just got a bit of stuff going on in the background, but it still sounds very nice, and it's very nice to use. Of course, we had some GEs within the game, but it's on offer for you to use nonetheless. This one here is a pretty neat one as well. This is the General 2. This is the Red River and Gulf 440, built by Baldwin, 1919. That sounds really good. That one stood out to me initially when I was taking a look at this pack last night. That one is definitely top 5. I got to make it 5. I don't know. But that sounds really, really good. The General 2. Here we have the GN 1355. Baldwin 460, built 1909, and later rebuilt to be a Pacific type, a 462, pulling the likes of the Empire Builder, etc. That sounds pretty darn bananas as well. I like that one. I've got 4 out of 5 now. I'm running. It might be like a top 7, but that one sounds really nice as well. The GN 1355. Now this one is going to be super ridiculous because it's on a steam engine, and I'm just laughing thinking about it. Gram White E-Bell. We know what it is, and it's an electronic bell, not a real bell. It's like Pinocchio of bells. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an E-Bell. It's a clean sample. It works. I don't know what in the hell you would use that on in Railroader, but hey, it's there, man. Go for it. Alrighty, next up, Norfolk and Western 2156 2882 Chonker, built 1942 at Norfolk and Western's very own Roanoke shops, retired 1959. Again, very clean sample, distinctive note. It sounds really good. That would be, I want to say my top 5, but we got quite a few to go, so that might change. Again, the Norfolk and Western 2156. All right, so now we got the Southern 4501, a 282 built 1911 by Baldwin, of course. The first Mike or Mikado for the Southern Railway. That sounds epic. The bell sound is epic. You can hear a little bit of the operation of the bell in the background, which, you know, if you're like standing right up next to some of the equipment that would be, you know, making said sound, you know, great. But if that kind of background stuff was toned down a little bit, that would be absolutely epic. That would be a worthy mention outside of my top 5, the Southern 4501, because the bell itself is gorgeous. Now we got the Southern 630 Alco 280 built 1904. Now what's interesting about this one? This was the one that ran this very map that this game is built upon, primarily running the Murphy branch until the 1950s. This is what you would have heard back in these draws and hollers and hills right here. Now, it's not one of the cleanest bells. It is the most appropriate and the most fitting for the region if you're going for that kind of play style. You know, I don't know if that were to be able to be cleaned up at all, but that's probably not one of my favorite, top 5 anyway, of course. But it's available. Let's check out the next one. All right, another one. All you Pennsylvanians, I'm totally sure know all about the Strasburg 9210, built by Baldwin 1924 for Colorado's Great Western Railway. Again, a decent sound. I don't think it's in my personal top 5, but I think it's a notable, worthy mention for sure. Strasburg 90. All right, and wrapping up, I think we got about 3 more, and they're all from the Valley Railroad. This one's fairly interesting as well, as is all of, you know, most of Valley Railroad's locomotives. The 3025, it was a Chinese 282 built in 1989 by Tangshan Loco Works. Let's give it a listen. Again, probably not one of my top 5, but it is on offer if you want to use it. Second to last is the Valley Railroad 40. Alco 282 built 1920 for the Minarets in Western. That's one of the more clean samples in the pack, I would say. Overall, that is a definite and definitive honorable mention there. The Valley Railroad 40. And coming up on the tail end of the Bell mods are the Valley Railroads number 97, an Alco 280 built in 1923 for Birmingham and Southeastern. The locomotive was actually intended for Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. It was meant to go to their national railway. At the time, it did not work out, though. Here's what it sounds like. There we go. I'd say it's close to an honorable mention as well because, it's a nice sound. It's just got some of that background interference, if you will. I know a lot of these were recorded on site. Obviously, that's how you're going to get the sound from this. Different devices recorded these things, etc., etc. But overall, we have a nice collection to go along with our whistles and horns. That being, of course, the bells. A free mod, really easy to install for Railroader. It'll all be linked down below. But that's going to be it, guys. Just wanted to jingle some bells for you. And again, enjoy the rest of the year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All that good stuff. Don't know if we'll see you again before the new year. So if not, Happy New Year as well. Take care, guys. Hopefully see you next time. Bye.